Welcome to the Matt Report, a podcast for building businesses with WordPress. Subscribe to the Matt Report at mattreport.com/subscribe. And now your host, Matt.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Matt Report, season number 3, episode number 4. And today we get to sit down with the new owner of WPLift.com. That's Daan Tol. An amazing personality and seemingly an amazing business guy. We're going to learn about how he set up to buy WPLift and sort of the thought process, the strategy, and some of the stress levels of what it's like to spend $205,000 on a blog, specifically a WordPress blog, and why he's doing it. As somebody who runs a creative agency and sort of outsources to developers and designers to build client projects, we're going to learn why he's making this dive into the blogging space, specifically in the WordPress space, for sure. And it's just a great conversation. Seems like a great personality. Seems like a gentleman that has his head on his shoulders, and will probably do some great things with the property. And I'm excited for him, and I'm excited for Ollie. We've tried to book many times, just never had a chance to get him on the show, but excited that he was able to exit from this. And after a lot of hard work, he's able to sort of reap the benefits of that. What's new in this world? Well, as always, mattreport.com/subscribe. Join the mailing list. Number one way to stay connected. As always, would love a 5-star review in iTunes. If you do enjoy this podcast, it helps tremendously. It helps a lot. It helps us get found, and it makes me know that you still want to hear content from WordPress entrepreneurs all around the globe. I've also released my second podcast, second official right now podcast. I've had many, but this is the official number 2 that I'm handling at the moment. It's Plugged In Radio. You can find that at pluggedinradio.com or plugintut.com, the new home for handcrafted WordPress tutorials. I would love for you to check that out as well if you're into learning about WordPress tutorials, learning how to use these plugins straight from the developers themselves. You can find that at plugintut.com/subscribe. The best thing you could do for me right now, aside from spreading the word, is I would love folks to subscribe to the YouTube channel. And again, you can see that at plugintut.com/subscribe. Trying to get to 100 subscribers on YouTube will help me secure the Plugin Tut handle. That would be amazing. I would really appreciate that from all of you listeners out there. This is an attempt to create tutorial content for WordPress plugins, products, and even themes that are just a little bit more entertaining. They're a different perspective, and hopefully folks that are listening to this channel to improve their businesses and get the strategies of business to get better clients, to get more clients, to charge a little bit more money. I hope the Matt Report solves that for you, and then Plugin Tut and Plugged In Radio will definitely be much more educational, much more tutorial focused. Here are the plugins that we use in our business, and here's how to use them. I hope that this is a great 1-2 punch for your WordPress business or any online business that you might be running, since a lot of the information that we talk about here and strategies cross over to all realms of online business, and that is the goal. All right, without further ado, let's dive into the show.
Daan, welcome to the program, sir.
Hi, Matt. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
All right. So one more time. I know we talked about this before the show started. Daan, right? Am I saying that correctly?
Yes, you are. Okay. Dan. That's my name. Yeah.
Okay.
But as I said before as well, you can say Dan as well.
Right.
I listen to that as well, especially internationally.
Awesome.
No problem.
I might slip up because I had a good gentleman named Dan who worked for me for years, and
that's good. That's good. I'll listen to it.
So let's dive right in. You are the new owner of WPLift.com.
True.
Yeah. So let's actually, before you get into that, tell us who you are, what you do before the WPLift world, which is only about 2 weeks old for you, I think.
Yes, something like that. Yeah, no, for sure. I'll tell you who I am. I'm a 34-year-old online freelancer from the Netherlands. I live in the south of the Netherlands, and I'm an online consultant in the most broad sense for regional, small, and middle-sized businesses. And my clients vary from like a design furniture shop to the local gym to human resources companies or lawyers. And I help them out with online marketing, but then in a broad sense. So from advertising and visibility to social media campaigns and email marketing, but also I'm giving advice on what tools to use and of course, AdWords, remarketing, the whole bunch. And in the beginning, when I started freelancing, I started helping small businesses out as well. And nearly all of them, their first question was, can you can you help me with building my website? So yeah, I went into that as well. And I started doing that as well.
In the beginning, were you automatically, when people were saying, hey, look, I need my website too, did you automatically just use WordPress? Were you using something else? And what was that scenario like?
I was actually thinking before this interview, I was thinking back, like it's 7 years ago, what was my first CMS? And I have to be honest, at the uni, I started off using Blogger. For my thesis blog, which I opened up then to communicate with my professor, which he found really high tech of me. So
nice.
That added some credits for me as well, because it was really like a high tech way of communicating about my thesis. And to be honest, the first thing that I built for a client was actually a web shop. I thought, let's take the easy road. let's build a web shop. And that was in PrestaShop. And then after that, I took a little detour in Joomla. I have my own site in Joomla, and I found out that was a nightmare.
Yep.
And after I tried WordPress, it felt really good compared to Joomla, especially the backend 6 or 7 years ago. And from then on, I reversed my whole website to WordPress, and from then on, it was like nearly WordPress all the way for me and for a lot of customers who, were asking me for their small site or for their corporate site. I would nearly always say, let's go for WordPress because. I like it, and the open character is really, really good and helpful. Yeah, and the community behind it, it's always evolving. What really attracted me.
Yeah, and there's so many questions that I'm going to try to squeeze into this 35-minute interview. One of them, of course, and everybody, let's set the stage. If you don't know, WPLift was purchased by Dan, and the selling price, which is, a lot of the times I ask folks like, hey, how much did you invest in this product, or how much did you buy that product from? A lot of it's not public knowledge, so a lot of folks like to say, hey, we don't talk about how much we spent. However, you bought your site on an open auction for $205,000, roughly American dollars.
Yes. That's something I'm happy with to begin off. Sorry, that it's open, and I know. There was no other way. But no, sorry, I'll let you finish your question, and then I have enough for me to say about that as well.
So a lot of folks sitting back are saying, number one, who is this guy? And a lot of folks in the community are also saying, oh my God, $200,000 for a blog. I don't understand, right? I do. Yeah. I do personally, because I know how much work goes into building a blog and publishing that much content and building a brand. And it took years for them to build up that just the audience and the traction, so on and so forth. So you're still a freelancer though, correct? Or do you have a team behind you?
Both. I mean, I am still a freelancer, but I work with a team of people working for me, doing the designing, doing the developing, doing the writing for me.
Got it.
But together, it's not like, to make it really clear, I didn't buy it and just... purely as an investment, then never look at it again. No, will be very active in WPLift.
Awesome.
However,
position that for me. Sorry, just position that for me, because in the mind of a lot of folks are how does a freelancer, or why does a freelancer spend this kind of money on a blog property? If they're not a larger team. I mean, the last big blog that sold in the community was actually sold to WP Engine, the hosting company. So a lot of folks are sort of familiar with, if anybody's going to swoop in and let's say buy Matt Report, it'll probably be GoDaddy or something, somebody with a lot of money. But
no, why you? Actually, sorry, yeah.
No, you can go ahead. Why you and what's your plan?
Let's think about the angle there, which I want to take, because I was thinking about a way to grow. And you can do that in several ways, as an online marketer or as an online online freelancer. One route is to say, well, I hire 2 young guys here, sit next to me, and they do all the legwork, and I'll start being their boss and being their salesman, right?
Correct.
And you build that out. But the part of the picture which I don't really like about that is that I'm then more. If you want to grow that business, you're more the boss who's in charge of everything and not doing the work anymore. Mm-hmm. If you understand what I mean.
Oh yeah.
So I thought, no, I don't want to build I don't want to build a business with a lot of people sitting next to me. I don't want that. I want to grow in a different way. And then I thought, how can you grow as a business? So I start putting aside money, and I thought, yeah, you can also buy a business which is online, and yeah, grow from there.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, I think it's a smart strategy. It's one that personally I've taken from the first route. Is I own an agency. I have folks that
agency. Sorry, yeah. that was the word I was looking for. Just to Sorry, my Dutch is my English can be a little bit rusty.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. So yeah, I mean, same thing. It's very much when I started the business and seeing people alongside of me. There's a very popular. Again, I don't know if you're familiar with all the agencies, but there's a popular agency called 10up, and I knew the founder. From our local meetups, and I saw how fast he was growing, and I said, "There's no way that I can grow at that pace because I'm just not as connected or knowledgeable as he is. But what I can do is I can start like a blog. I can start talking to people, and it eventually turned into this podcast, and it's been a great boon for the business. And I'm sure the same strategy will work for you definitely when you pick up a property as popular as WPLift.
Yeah, and then besides that, I mean, the amount is insane. That is true. That I find that as well. Yep. However, purely looked from a business perspective, and I mean, I've been looking for nearly 1.5 years, 15 months for an interesting website, and I was looking at several brokers, like all the big brokers. Mm-hmm. I've been in contact with. I've been looking at Flippa for a long time. And you wouldn't believe the amount of garbage I've seen in those months. Yep. Like sites that probably make you 12,000 a month for a bit less than 200K. But all in all, I looked at these sites and I thought, yeah, but they're all based on Google tricks, or they're all They could collapse any minute.
Right. There's no real depth.
A lot of them that I've taken a look at are all these Amazon affiliate websites with free followers. So they make 15,000 a month, but they have free followers. I don't believe that.
Right,
so
of course. Right.
I was looking for a business where someone put his heart and soul into it, where it's actually a human being behind it, where it's actually a voice coming from that website. And I was looking for that in a topic which I could relate to, which I could be enthusiastic about, an authentic website. So yeah, and then I saw WPLift, and I was really enthusiastic about it, and I was actually hoping it would go for less, of course.
Whoops.
And the first thing like my first estimate. I was hoping 160K, but then I thought, no, I'll be counting at 200K.
Yeah,
I was already counting on that, because if you just take the monthly revenues, I mean, Ollie has communicated that all on Flippa. So yeah, there's just a basic rule between like 30 to 50 times a month. That's the going rate. So if you have a website like WPLift, which has a really good background and is done properly, I did think I made a good investment.
Yeah. So one thing
it's not one without any risks.
Of course,
it's not that I had 200K lying next to me and say, well, what am I going to do with it? No, of course.
Do I just continue to sleep on this pile of money as my bed, or do I spend it on a blog? I don't know. I think I would just buy a blog.
No. But it's based on saving money for my business, and as well, we live in a time now where business loans are now more easily given.
Yep.
So, I mean, if you look at the European bank that is pumping the amount of money that has been pumping in the European Union, that makes the business loans going a little bit easier nowadays.
Yeah. So one thing,
for me, the time felt perfect to invest in a serious website. Sorry,
I think it definitely is. I think anybody who's looking to, so I got a couple quick side notes here for the listeners. One thing is, I think if anybody is looking to sell their WordPress business, I'd probably say now is the time to do it. It's a very hot market. In fact, when I was at WordCamp US, there were a lot of investors in the crowd looking to find businesses to sort of invest in, because the noise of a traditional VC startup Silicon Valley type business is it's just so much that people are now looking down the chain to find people like us. The other thing I wanted to mention was, in this community, which I'm sure you've been exposed to for the many years that you've been doing this, and probably from maybe some emails and comments you probably read after your purchase, a lot of people in this community, unfortunately, they don't connect the money to the business side of things. And what I mean by that is they see the $200,000 price tag and they say, oh my God, who would ever pay that kind of money? It just doesn't even make sense. Those are also the same people who would never buy a premium plugin, right? Because
indeed.
Because they're like, I just don't. These are people that just never want to part with their money. And unfortunately, there's a lot of that in the community. I'm not saying that everyone is like that, but I definitely see it where people just say they don't see what the potential return is on the $200K that you invested in such a quality blog too. Like you said, it's not just this, fly by night. It's been up for a couple months and it scooped up some Google juice and it's getting some great affiliate kickbacks. This is Ollie. You put in tons of hard work. I've been trying to get the guy on the show for years, and he just never responds to my emails. Thank you, Ollie, if you're listening to this, which I hope you are.
You pulled it. You made it work very quickly with me. Then should have played harder to get.
Yeah. Let's try to get this interview, but. So what are the fears, right? What are the fears that you have after spending this kind of money to acquire the blog? Like, what kind of fears do you have? Since a lot of it is his voice.
I mean, all kind of fears. I mean, but that's the fear any entrepreneur has. Will my investment work? Will this work? Will this continue to? I mean. You can have plans for this website and think, oh, I will do this and this and that. Will that work? Will this go on? I mean, of course, it's different than buying like a normal business, like buying a restaurant or buying whatever, because then it's bricks. You still have it, and on the internet, it's a bit different. But yeah, the fears are definitely there, and especially with a community as the WordPress community, which is very critical. And I don't know.
Is there one thing when you got I'll say the keys to the house, and you walked in the house, and all of a sudden you're like, oh God, this is real. What do I do next? Were there any of those moments sort of looming above your head?
I have to say, like in the beginning, I was really overwhelmed, and I was looking for an analogy to say and to tell you, and I hope this works, but it's like when I took over the website, it's like cooking in a new kitchen. You know how to cook, but you don't know where everything is or how simple things are done normally in this kitchen. But still, someone is every hour at your door asking for a plate of food. And that's a bit of the feeling for me. The first 2-3 weeks are like, whoa.
Yeah.
What's going on? And so many emails. And what is he asking? And this is a very normal task, but I'm new to this. So how do I do this? And that's a little bit overwhelming in the beginning.
Yeah, give us some insight to that. Are there people emailing you, like staff people who are writing and contributing to the blog that are asking you to do things, or are these just readers of the blog saying, hey, where's this coupon code, or where's this special deals page that you had before, that kind of thing?
all kinds of people and a lot of guest writers who have brilliant ideas, but they don't most of the time. But yeah, for me it's all new. So I noticed that I'll probably in 2-3 months I'll recognize the spam from a mile, and now I'm like I'm like this really green dude and looking at a mail saying, oh well, this is a very nice person, and now I'll mail back and everything. And a lot of them I know is just he paid 200K for that website, so I'm gonna ask a lot of money from him, or I'm gonna. So yeah, I know I'm now the guy who's targeted for in a lot of this.
Yeah, look, that's definitely a real thing, right? And
I know. I wanted to buy it on a broker. I mean, if I had the choice, I mean, I was looking for 15 months for this, for a good website. And I know a couple of brokers, and I would love to have them bought it for me, because then I could have been a little bit under the radar more about the amount. I mean, I don't want to be under the radar, but I don't want the price. Yeah, for me, it wasn't really on the upside that it's now open. The price. So yeah, no. If it could have done via broker, I'd rather have done it that way. But no, yeah.
When you made your first bid on Flippa for this website in particular, when you made your first bid, and I think maybe it started at 50K, I think was the starting bid, something like that. Anyway,
when I looked, it was around that. Yeah. So I don't even know if it started at 50K, but yeah, I can imagine that it must have.
So as the price of it, the selling price started to increase, how did your mindset change? Like when maybe you were at 50K and you're like, hey, if this thing sells for 50K, great. I don't feel as anxious or as stressed out at that price point. Still a lot of money, but I don't feel as stressed out. But then as it started to climb 75, 100, 150, did you start open a dialogue with Ollie and to say, hey, look, man, we're getting serious now. This is bigger bucks. Can you really prove this out to me? And what was that sort of sales handshake like?
No. I mean, if I was looking, as I said before, like for 15 months, I was looking at websites. So the due diligence that you do for this kind of trades is on you on your own. And you have to do them quite thoroughly. So yes, I did have contact with Ollie before and say, well, can I have some Google Analytics insights, and had some questions. To be honest, I don't remember the exact questions, but I had some questions about certain things I noticed in Google Analytics. And I said, well, what's the deal here? And why has this happened? And what do you think about the future of the website? And but no, to be honest, when it was 50K, I knew that it was never going to stay 50K, because I knew the market. After looking at it for so many months, I knew the market, and I knew I wasn't there by myself. And as you said, a lot of investors are now moving into the website buying business, because in a lot of other like usual traders businesses, there is no money to be made. So in this space there is, I believe.
Yeah.
So it's getting more crowded because the banks aren't giving any money anymore, and people are afraid of buying stocks. So this is getting busier, I think.
Sure.
So no, I knew I could never steal this for 50K.
Yeah.
Never. So I already, like, in my head, I was hoping for 160, but I was counting on 200.
Yeah.
And to be honest, once you're on 200, you're thinking, well, it would be a shame if I lost it in 201.
Oh yeah.
So that's yeah.
So you research these websites for 15 months. So you have obviously a lot of sort of knowledge of as the buyer. What kind of advice would you give somebody who's looking to sell their web property, either a blog or even a small product business? Like, what are the things you started to look for to say, you know what, I trust that I can buy this brand or this blog? Like, what are those cues that people can refine on their own website that you'd give them advice to?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a combination of looking good at the Google Analytics. Always look at Google Analytics and look at the numbers and look at the, like, how long are people staying on the web, like the basics. Mm-hmm. How long are people staying there? What is the bounce rate? What is the history? Is the bounce rate been tampered with? Or, I mean, yeah, in a good way, you can tamper the bounce rate. But also, is there a social profile? And if there's not, why isn't there any? Probably, I mean, most of the websites who earn, as I said before, they earn 12K a month, but they had 2 Facebook fans and 1 Twitter follower. Something is wrong in that picture. It's right. Just use your how do you say that in English? Using your common sense. Sorry, right. Using your common sense. Just and that's the only advice I could give to a buyer, but that's not the seller. That's not the seller's advice. To a seller, I would say, yeah, I mean, be honest. So I would actually like if I was asking questions and they would be honest and say, well, yeah, that is indeed not one of our strongest suits. We have done this wrong. I'd rather have that the owner admits that something is wrong or something is flawed in his website. Because once a seller is saying that everything is fantastic, I'm really I'm inclined not to believe him anymore. Yeah, because exactly. That's always too good to be true. When it's too good to be true, run away.
Right. Run for the hills.
Online. Yeah, and especially in the online business. I mean, and of course, I mean. What I found very important as well is to look at all the links and all the natural links. Aren't they built up, and do they have a natural pattern in them?
What about the you mentioned earlier that it was a quality blog, it was a quality brand. Did you look at sort of like Ollie's contribution to the community, to the articles that he wrote, or was it simply, I don't want to make it sound harsh, but was it just a business thing and you just said, you know what, it's got traffic, it's got links, it's got great keywords and visibility, and that's what's
always... Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's always been a combination. No, it's never been purely a harsh investment kind of cold banker decision. No, I don't want people to get the wrong idea of me with sitting with a top hat in my big chair. No, not at all.
Well, I just got that picture and it was pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean, Monopoly guy. No, sorry, no. But on the other hand, he wrote, I think when I bought it, 943 articles.
Right.
So I would be lying if I would say to you, well, no, Matt, I've read them all before I bought it. But that's nearly, that's impossible. It's like 6 or 7 years, his movement in the blogosphere is, I can't, I mean, I tried to do my, as I said, due diligence as good as possible, but I looked at the bigger picture combined with his voice, and I liked his voice in a lot of things. He said sensible things, and the combination I liked.
Yeah, I mean, there's a I was going to say handful, but there's plenty of people that I know in the WordPress community that. You know, they're developers. They're very much developer focused, and they might have sort of these premium or commercial plugins and themes that they sell. But a lot of them do less than $1,000 a month, right? And there are folks who are out there saying, you know what, I'm done sort of trying to build up this business because of the marketing that needs to be done or the competition that needs to be done, or maybe they just sort of, a lot of these folks just fall into it. They don't actually realize that somebody comes and buys something and then they start making some money and then it becomes almost like a burden. Like all of a sudden now they're like, wow, I have to support these people. I have to support this product. And now I have to iterate on it and innovate on it. And I don't want to do that anymore. So they look to say, I'm going to get out of this business. I'm going to sell this business. And I've seen a few folks just let it fizzle out and just sort of die off, which, they could take that moment and say, maybe I will put it on Flippa, or maybe I will reach out to a broker, even if it makes small money. But you can point out the
the things that lack on the site, like it's not good documentation, or excuse me, it's not good marketing. It doesn't have good social because I'm not a very social person or whatever, but it makes $1,000 a month, right? And you kind of boost up the positive about it, but talk about the negatives because you're just more honest with your buyer, and you can actually build a better transaction that way because you can highlight the things that they can build on. But also tell them, look, you already got $1,000 a month, and it's already doing $1,000 a month without doing anything. So I think it's a smart move for anybody looking to sell to sort of don't hide from the negatives, sort of point them out and maybe inform them how you can build upon it.
No, I agree. I mean, I as I said before, I always am far more inclined to believe someone who's open about their flawedness, or about their flaws. And then someone who says that everything's going perfect, because it's not. It's never.
Yeah. So what's next? Like, do you have any revolutionary product that you're going to roll out with this, or new type of content? Anything that you can discuss? Any plans that you have that you're going to all of a sudden, flip it on its head and change the theme and go Drupal? Like, what are you going to do next?
Yeah, that would work really well. I would say get away from the work. No, of course not. As I said, like with the kitchen analogy I used before, now I'm still at the period I need to get a really good grip of everything that is WPLift.
Yep.
And at the first period, I will do what Ollie has been doing right, and I won't change that. I mean, don't fix it if it ain't broke. Right. Some things were working, and I will. Like my first goal is maintain the quality of WPLift and see how that goes for 2-3 months, just getting the hang of everything. But then I think I need to connect to the audience more. I mean, Ollie has described to me a bit about the audience, but I want to understand more of what they would like to see more on the website. Because I can, I can get creative and think, well, we should have more articles on this, on that, but I want to connect to the audience more to see, what do they want me to put up on the blog.
Nice.
And I think WPLift is strong in theme reviews and list, plugin reviews and list, and we have a good news overview and related WordPress articles with tips and guides. And I don't think I will change that DNA completely. I mean, it's not aimed at the hardcore WP developer, nor is it a pure how-to website. But I think the changes will come in details, not in the general DNA.
Got it.
Of WPLift. So no, as far as I can see, for the coming months, I won't flip the whole website and do something completely different, or use it for something other than it was now. But I mean, there are things that I see, well, I want to, like the details, I want to improve our readership on Facebook. These are also like goals, like more maybe marketing kind of goals. Mm-hmm. I think there are a lot of possibilities for WPLift to grab. And So that's for me the near future. And
one of the challenges that I recently wrote about, and a lot of folks are sort of publicly write about or speak about, is as an agency owner, myself and you too, a lot of us want to get into product. So I have a small theme shop. I have a small plugin that we sell, and it sort of supplements the business, gives us some extra revenue. But the biggest challenge is splitting the time. When do I dedicate my developers and designers to client work? Here's a big hint. It's 90% of the time because they pay the bills. So when do I dedicate their time to do that versus research and development and improving our products, and the balance between the two? And even myself as the owner, I do biz dev for the agency. Now I have to go and do marketing for my products. And oh, by the way, I now have 2 podcasts that I have to edit. When do I do this? So how are you going to balance the time between your agency work and existing clients with the new publishing site? It's fair to say that you haven't thought about it yet.
No, but I have, because like every year I have kind of work resolutions. And then I like in December, January, I look at the year behind me and I think, what could I have done better? What don't I like about my work, and what is the things that I do like about my work. So what should I drop? Like, should I still sell hosting, which I really don't like? So no, I stopped that. And as well, this, like I told you, I've been looking for websites for a longer time, for 15 months. So I've been gradually dialing down that business to make sure that I did have enough time to combine those two. So at the moment, I'm not actively looking for new clients, because I have a couple of clients who are very loyal to me, and I to them, and I get my work share from them, and I can combine it very well with WPLift. So yeah, for me, that's working now, but
talk to you in 6 months.
yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I can't make any promises on that, because you know how it goes. I mean, if a large client calls and they want something done, then you'll hop on that train as well. So but I mean, there's a strong possibility that larger than a strong possibility, I have the option now to say no because WPLift for me is important, and I really want to spend time in that.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things this is one of the reasons I wanted to buy a website. In a way, I would be my own largest client, which I really, really like, because, for example, I had a client last year, and both of the one client were two people involved in that business, and I was the only one who had online experience. And I noticed that every time there was like a technical issue or some questions about building a new website on which platform, and I advised them to go left. Every time say, well, here, go left. And every time they took a right. So that annoyed me so much that I said, this is why I want to be my own biggest client.
Right.
So I have freedom to do what I want. And so that's what, for me, the future will be more WPLift than seeking new clients.
Right. Yeah. It's funny you say that, because that's actually been on my mind recently, thinking about sort of the consultancy work that we do and even the agency work that we do. And then just the sort of the internet marketing message at large, right? You see all these folks sort of promoting how to build, how to sell $10,000 clients, how to build an agency and make $1 million while living on a beach, like all this stuff. Number one, it's a lot of hard work. Everybody who listens to this show knows that I say that all the time. It's super hard work to build any kind of business, but especially a web creative business, as easy as it might seem. But the biggest challenge for me in the business isn't the hiring, it isn't the technicals of building large-scale websites. It's getting the clients to actually care about your expertise and what you deliver to the table. And that's the biggest challenge, when clients don't care about that stuff. It really hits home, because I don't know about you, but when I'm servicing clients, it's because I want them to succeed too. It's not just me trying to give them an invoice and pay me $150 an hour. It's because I want you to win at whatever it is you're doing, and I want to help you get there. And when they don't take that advice, it's damaging to the soul to a degree.
I can relate to that, because I mean, when I delivered websites for clients, I would hire a developer, I would hire a designer, and I would be the project manager in this. And I couldn't stand to deliver. I couldn't stand to deliver a website who wasn't looking really well, like when the content is in there as well. As other bureaus or agencies would have just said, here it is, an empty website. That's what we agreed upon. You fill it yourself, and if it looks shit, it looks shit. I don't care. That's not what you paid for. And I couldn't do that, never. And that's my problem. But that took me hours and hours. And like for some projects, I was calculating my hourly fee, and I was like crying. I was like, I better work at a supermarket for this rate. I'm crazy. So yeah, that I can definitely relate to your statement before.
Yeah. So you're in the Netherlands, right?
what's the website, for lack of a better word, what's the website market like there? Are people in tune to looking for WordPress? Do they come knocking on your door for websites? What's the environment like over there?
I think I believe the I didn't want to do that anymore, building websites, because a lot of it's a fighting market.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's correct English, but a lot of people, a lot of agencies on the market have been for a couple of years now, and they're only becoming more and more. It's a little bit a cowboy market. I think they sell you full-on websites for €500 or $500. It's all the same. And for me, it wasn't really the part where I can really do well in, because you always have to compete. A lot of clients compete for the money. They'll just say, well, he can do it through 1,000, and you're asking me 3,000. Why is that? Or those kind of discussions. And I think the market is quite crowded in the building area in the Netherlands.
What about WordPress in general? Is it sort of more common? I know for me, starting my agency, 8 years ago at this point, and at least in my local market, WordPress, people had no idea. WordPress, what's WordPress? No idea. 5 years later, some people kind of heard of WordPress. Now, WordPress is becoming a little bit more common, where people say, "Oh yeah, I know about WordPress," or "Oh yeah, I want WordPress." Is that sort of floating around?
Yeah, I think that it's nearly the same as where you're from. As what you're describing is in the beginning, I've had to explain to the client what it was, and like years later, then you would speak to a client, and then they would give you the assignment of saying, "I want a WordPress website." And for me, that was all fine, but they would ask for the brand like WordPress, and they wouldn't have done before. But I think it's gone, as you described, a lot more popular as well.
Yeah.
Sorry, not a really interesting answer.
That's okay.
It's more or less the same.
We should have prefaced the show too that this is your officially first podcast, right? That you're doing.
Yes.
First of many, and we all know that you have $200,000 under your bed, so we're all going to be knocking on your door, looking to get you on the show.
My address here.
Look, everybody, he's broke now, right? He has no money left. He just bought a website.
I have a huge debt now as well.
What about
which I have to pay off.
What about the WordPress community from where you're from? I believe WordCamp Europe is coming up, maybe already passed. I forget off the top of my head. But what is the WordPress community like there? WordPress meetups, WordCamps? What's going on there, and what's your agenda for attending these?
I actually have never attended any.
Bum, bum, bum. The truth comes out only on the Matt Report.
Scoop. But I believe there is one in October in Utrecht, in the center of the Netherlands. There is one, which is sponsored usually, I think, by Joost, the national WordPress, the Pride.
Yep.
So. I might have a look there,
Any plans to fly over to the States, like WordCamp US at all?
Not yet. No, as you said, I'm broke, man.
Yeah.
So, no, I just recently visited the Next Web in the Next Web Europe in Amsterdam.
Yep.
Not sure if your audience is familiar with, but I find it's really, really exciting to go there, because it's a little bit more a broad view about the whole internet and technology, and I like those kind of exhibitions a lot. But I have to say, I have to go to WordCamp as well. So I think in October I should visit Utrecht WordCamp.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to ask you if you had attended any other events or conferences. What were the takeaways from such a broad event like that? Was it just good to see like the energy that everyone had, or did you actually make business connections and learn something?
Learn something, yes. Business connections, not really, to be honest. It's more, I go there to be inspired.
Yeah.
And so that can be by talks of I know. I remember the talk of the Pirate Bay founder was really interesting.
Wow.
But it's more like the whole ethics discussion, which is non-business related at all. But I really enjoyed the whole talk.
Nice.
I'm thinking about examples. That's what you want to hear. Sorry, I have to think about that.
Yeah, that's
maybe
totally
I'll
fine.
mail them to you later.
No problem, no problem. As we sort of wrap up here, is there anything else on the radar? Anything else that you have going on, or is WPLift and your current business and satisfying your current clients the main focus right now? Any other special endeavors that you might be looking to do?
No, from the business side, no. What you've mentioned, just that's a lot for me to take in. And plus, I have an 8-week-old baby now, daughter now as well here. So I'm busy on the other side as well as on the business side. So no, I have enough on my plate. For as it is, and maybe in 6 months I'll mail you and call you up and say, well, Matt, I'm gonna do this exciting things here on WPLift, and then I'll definitely let you know. But for now, no.
It's what we like to say in the English tongue. Don't pull an ollie on me.
Sorry, don't pull an ollie on me.
Don't pull an ollie on me. Respond to my email. Let me know what's going on with WPLift. I'm just kidding, Ollie, if you are listening. I'm just joking. Just pulling your chain. You and I, my friend, are very similar in our thoughts and the way that we operate our businesses. And I am also going to have a child in about 3.5 weeks now, 4 weeks.
Exciting time.
So you and I will definitely be emailing each other, probably pictures of scotch as we try to manage our businesses. Dan, this has been a great conversation. I'm so glad that you're able to come on and share the experience, the knowledge. I mean, sounds like there's a wealth of knowledge that I can still tap into. But I'm thinking it's going to be great for our audience to hear, what you have going on. They finally get to meet the new owner of WPLift. I'm super excited for you and where you're going with that. Where can folks find you on the web to say thanks?
They can find me on Twitter at Daan Tol.
Awesome. And WPLift.com.
Yeah, for sure.
And if you want to submit your $5,000 guest posts, he's writing checks out today.
Of course, I always am. I have to do something about that reputation.
Yeah.
WPLift.com.
Listen, don't post any pictures of you and your Lamborghini on Instagram like all the other internet entrepreneurs do.
No, when I finally paid my debt, then I will.
Yeah. Everybody else, it's mattreport.com, mattreport.com/subscribe. Join the mailing list. And if you enjoyed this show, if you want me to keep reaching out to awesome folks like this in and around the WordPress space, I love a 5-star review on iTunes. Head on over to iTunes, click on the 5 stars. You don't even have to write a review. You can just click on the stars, and that'll be it. Again, mattreport.com. Thanks for listening, everybody.